Hi again then guys, and so we've got another extremely fast drag spec tune for you today, and this time it's for a massively popular drag car, the Toyota Supra. So you want your racing soft tyres as usual. For the brakes, we've increased the front balance to 6, lowered the rear to 4. For the springs, you want the front as high as possible, the rear as low as possible. This doesn't actually increase your top speed. Most people think it does, but since the last couple of updates it actually doesn't. But what it does do in the case of the Supra is increase your top end acceleration. For the springs, we've got the front on 20, the back on 5, dampers 4 on the front, 1 on the back, and for extension 4 on both. Anti-roll as high as possible to keep the car straight and true. Camber and toe neutral as always to get as much tyre contact to the road as possible. For the gearbox, you want the highest possible auto setting. Then for the individual gears, we've put those to 3, 1875, 1300, 965, 745 and 625 with a final drive of 2. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque because the Supra is infamous for wheel spin off the line, high acceleration and low braking sensitivity. You want all your power upgrades and make sure you give it the mid-range turbo, because it does actually work better even at high speeds than the high range turbo. I will be using NOS on this run as always, and obviously you want weight loss. Now I would recommend using a manual gearbox with this tune, because whereas with most of my drag tunes they're still really quick with an auto box, this one really does need the manual. Now, as always, we're putting up against a vehicle with significantly more power. In this case, also one of the most popular drag machines, the Dodge Viper. The Dodge Viper has almost 1100 horsepower in this case. It's the 2013 Viper GTS. As I said, almost 1100 horsepower compared to the Supra's 944. So, let's see how they compare. So obviously both are rear-wheel drive, and because, as I said, the Supra is known for its excessive wheel spin off the line, the Viper does get more of its power to the road better. But for top-end performance, the Supra is really the car to beat in the domestic market on the game. It leaves other cars for dead, such as the Skyline, the NSX, the RX-7, cars which you would typically expect it to beat. Now overall, as you can see, the Viper does appear to be a superior drag machine, and this is not like a quarter-mile drag machine or anything like that, because there are plenty of vehicles which can beat the Supra low-end. This is a high-end drag tune, primarily to go up against really other Supras, really. It can take on other vehicles, but it's primarily designed, in this case, to go up against other Supra tunes. And as you can see, the top speed is better than this particular Viper, which itself is definitely not a slow car. Now off the line, it's not as quick as, say, an all-wheel drive vehicle. It actually has the slowest acceleration, or one of the slowest acceleration times of this series so far, because most of my tunes are all-wheel drive drag cars, but it still hits 60 miles per hour in 2.3 seconds. It hits 100 in 4.1. But like with a gas turbine-powered vehicle, with the Supra, all the performance really comes in mid to top end. And it is a lot quicker than its power would suggest. I mean, the Viper had a lead over this car for a lot of the drag. But again, that Viper has a huge power advantage, almost 1100 horsepower compared to 944, and a very similar amount of weight. Plus the Viper doesn't suffer with anywhere near the amount of wheel spin as the Supras commonly do. Top speed wise, this does around 290, a little bit more than 290. So again, seriously quick for a non-premium production, just normal road car essentially. Obviously it's a performance car, but relatively normal. But getting back to the specs, this car will hit 250 miles per hour in well under 20 seconds. It does the quarter mile, incidentally, although it's not designed for it in this case, but it does do the quarter mile in 8.8 seconds. It does the standing mile in 20.7, and it will cover 4 miles from a standing start in less than a minute. That's 6,400 metres in less than a minute. And incidentally, for the long-range drag tunes, which as I said this is primarily designed for, it will cover 11,000 metres, which is pretty much one whole side of this track from the start line to the corner, in 1 minute 32.9. Now there's not much of a point of reference on that because not many people do that kind of drag and time it, but that's quick. Just take it from me, that's fast. So overall it's a seriously quick machine. Off the line I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this tune, but for mid-range to top-end drags, say from 3k up to 11k, definitely it's a very good contender. So if you decide to use this tune, I hope you find it helpful and competitive. And if you did find it helpful, feel free to subscribe. I put out new drag tunes every weekend and new top speed tunes every day. And as always, thanks for watching.